I am so glad you are here. It is Herby Thursday in my world. So let's talk about one that's been a little controversial. This would be comfrey. This is what the leaf, the herb, the above ground part looks like. And we had so little left of the root upstairs here. I thought I would just show you the whole, what we've got left at the moment upstairs in its lid. So this is comfrey root. Fabulous herb, huge long history in Western herbalism at the very least. And given the fact that I do have a pinyin name, it's got to have some record perhaps as having been used in traditional Chinese medicine as well. And in fact, you'll find it in its growing regions around the northern portions of the world. So we're talking Eurasia and the Americas as well, provided you're in the right growing range. It's a fabulous herb, and people used to drink this in tea all the time. In fact, there was a generation here in the United States of America where if you were into alternative health, gosh, this herb was recommended for everything. So you could conceivably have been drinking it daily and not given it a second thought. And in terms of short-term rewards, it's great. Long-term rewards, not so much for internal use. There's some things in this plant that it naturally makes that are called pyrrolizidine alkaloids. And whether or not you consciously know it, we don't like pyrrolizidine alkaloids as a general rule. They're tough for us to outprocess, and they can sit around. When the liver goes, I don't want to break that down, I'm going to hide it in my corner over here. They sit in that corner of the liver where they've been stored, for lack of a better term, irritating those liver cells. And they irritate them enough that when it was being drunk like every day by certain people in the United States, that group had a statistically significant greater chance of developing liver cancer than the general population. Now, it wasn't a huge difference, but it's a difference. So this is not an herb to use willy-nilly. This is not an herb to use without respecting its powers. But this is an herb that is still available, still in use. And why? Well, because to get the pyrrolizidine alkaloids, they have to get to the inside of your body. And they can't do that through intact skin, which means that if you put this on your skin, on what it's been used for traditionally, which I'm not going to make any claims here, but it's been used for pulled muscles, strains, sprains, even broken bones, you will absorb the active components you're looking for right through your skin, but you will not absorb those pyrrolizidine alkaloids, which is sort of amazing. So far safer topical use than internal use. That said, given the difference between the cancer rates for the people who drank it because, and I'm not kidding, I'm not exaggerating, because they had a headache, because they were stressed out, because they had a sprain or a strain or any of those other traditional reasons, because they had the flu or a cold, because they'd had a bad day. That group showed a slightly higher incidence of liver cancer. If I broke my leg tomorrow, I might drink this standard Western dosing for herbs for 2 weeks straight and not bat an eye because it's such a short-term use. You have to make your own judgment call on that. I'm going to be upfront with you. For me, I don't think that's a huge risk, despite the fact that, if anything, I have a little bit of liver signs on my little face itself. So comfrey is one to use with caution internally, but I wouldn't ban it entirely. But it's great in a poultice or in a cream. If you've got sore muscles, if you have overworked something and you've actually strained it, if you've got a sprained joint, it can be fabulous and really speed up the healing process for some folks. So consider it, especially for topical use. Even in a bath, it can be helpful, but I would do a poultice. I would get this damp with some hot water, let it cool down just a little bit for a couple minutes, pop it on, wrap it so it stays in place, and I would go about my day. And I would know I would feel better over the course of that day, partly just because of that herb's presence on my skin. Is that not amazing? Well, hopefully I've given you something to think about, something to consider between the safety and the usefulness of an herb like comfrey.
If you are interested in checking out our herb selection, you can absolutely find it. If you can see the QR code in the corner at our website, the QR code will take you right there. Thank you so much for watching, for being your amazing magical you. We love that about you here. And of course, for doing the little magical things you can do right here in social media land for us. I hope you have a wonderful, healthy, and safe week. Blessed be.